Hey guys, Will here with MediaPlace, and in this video we're going to go over speech and image generation. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at what this looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with image generation, and you can navigate to this page by going to your side panel here, and under AI, you'll see images. All right, so now the difference between the previous version of MediaPlace and this new version is that we only had one base model for our AI generation, for image generation. Now we have two. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the first one again and kind of get this going. So to use image generation, first you have your My Images right here, right? This is where all of the images that you generate will be created and stored. And then we have an inspiration page. All right, so the inspiration page is cool because it has over 2,000 plus images of royalty-free images to go for, to download, to save, to use for inspiration, to use in projects you have. So if you hover over one of them, it shows you the prompt that it's got, the style, and the license, which is royalty free, right? And again, if you want to save one of these, you can save it, choose which folder you want to save that in. I can save it to my files, and then bam, it has been saved into your library there, right, for your files. So again, a really powerful resource. If you're looking for something that for a certain style or a specific type of image, you can use this to kind of help generate your own prompts for yourself, or just use them in general, right? So it's really cool. All right, so let's go back to My Images and let's work through how we can create a prompt and generate our own images using AI. All right, so let's go with the base model first, right? So up at the top, you choose the model you want to go with, right? So we're going to go with the base model first, and then we'll work to Pegasus. Describe your image. So this is where you're going to prompt in to the AI system what you want or what you're looking for. What kind of image do you want? So I've got a prompt already set up. And again, right, the more detailed you get, the more in-depth you can be. So, and you know, you can follow the different rules that you want for that specific prompt, right? And then underneath that, you've got what to avoid. So if I click on what to avoid, it opens up another text box. And here's where you can say, you know, what you don't want, right? So if I'm looking for a picture and I only want to have a certain color ball or a certain color shape in my image, then I can say, please avoid all colors except for red, right? Like, so you can be real more specific and narrow down at things that you want to avoid. I'm just gonna leave that blank for now. How many images? So you can generate up to 4 images at a time, right? And then you can choose your resolution. So you can go 1 to 1, 4:3, 3:4, 16 by 9, 9 by 16, those types of things, right? And so from there, you can then choose your style. All right, so what kind of style do you want this to be? If I open this up and hit change, you can see for our first AI model, we have different types of things from photo to vivid to double exposure to linear da Vinci. So there's so many different kinds of styles that you could choose from. So depending on what you're creating, you choose what's appropriate for you, right? I'm going to go ahead and let's go with this neon noir, right? All right, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and create, and I will go ahead and generate this image. So once you start, click generate image, you'll see at the bottom there, it shows the little stars that the magic is in progress. And once it's finished generating your image, it will show up in your My Images section, which will be right here. All right, so here is my generated image. And so you can then click it and I can hit save, all right? Or you do have the option to export it out into a different external hard drive or different disk if you choose, but let's go ahead and save it and then click it into my files, all right? So that's pretty cool. Now let's go back to my files here and let's go to all my files. And here is the image that it generated, right? So you can say like, if you like it, you can keep it. If not, re-enter your prompt and then go again. But it does a really good realistic job. And I chose this kind of noir style because I had a sci-fi prompt in there. And if you like it, keep it. If not, go back, re-edit your tweaks, and then we can come back over here to our AI and go to images, and you can adjust the prompt if you want to, right? So again, that's the base model, right? Again, it works with people, it works with digital art, just depending on what your prompts are and your styles, right? Now let's go with the Pegasus model, right? So let's jump into Pegasus and let's change our prompt and let's try out a different model. All right, so one thing to note about Pegasus is that it's very great at creating detail-oriented photos of people, right? It can create all kinds of stuff as well, along with digital art and all that good stuff, but it is very great at making detailed photos of people. So let's go ahead and type in a prompt that generates something for a person. All right, so I've got a prompt already pre-made here, and let's type it in. So I'm basically creating a hyper-realistic image of a middle-aged man with deep brown eyes and a kind expression, right? So I kind of get even more specific, right? And I say I want a short, neatly combed, salt and pepper hair, right? Wearing a crisp white dress shirt under a charcoal blazer, right? So again, the more specific you get, the more advanced features you'll get for your photo, right? All right, so again, you have the same options to choose how many images you would like, right? So from between 1 to 4, and then choose your resolution. So let's have him give me 2 options, and I'm going to change my style. So one thing to note too is that in Pegasus, when you go to your styles, they're different, right? So it does focus more on detail-oriented people, but again, you can create some digital art looking images as well, depending on what your prompt is, right? It's a very powerful engine, right? So let's go ahead and do, let's go professional portrait photography, right? And then let's go ahead and generate our 2 images. So again, down in the bottom left corner, you'll see the little stars let you know that the magic is in progress, right? So something's happening in the background. And once it's done, it will then populate into our My Images here. And we'll see the 2 images that we've generated. And again, we'll be able to save them and choose whether we want to use them for future use or try again. All right, so here are our 2 images. And again, they did a really great job at creating exactly what I was looking for, right? And the detail is really fantastic, right? So let's go ahead and save these out, right? So save to my files. Let's take this guy also as our second option, save to my files, right? So let's go back to the files here, and we can see what we generate. So here's our first example, right? Again, super detailed. He's got his charcoal blazer, his white undershirt. He's got like a light smile, right? It's exactly what I was looking for. It's a portrait style shot. This is really great. And then you have option 2, different looking guy, same details in the smile. So again, Pegasus is a really powerful AI image generator that can really bring you the designs and the assets you're looking for your project, which is really cool. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about speech generation. So I'm going to navigate over to the left-hand panel here, and under AI, I will then go to speech. All right, so speech generation is cool because you can create AI-generated speech for your projects, for your presentations, whatever you may need. You can use this, right? So let's go ahead and show you how it works. So up at the top, you've got your enter the script. So you have your text box, and you can also make that text box bigger. So if I click on that, it'll then kind of pop it out a little bit more, or click on smaller text box to kind of keep it within that confined restraint. You can also put your cursor between the corner of the box, and you see it goes into an up and down arrow. You can left click and drag down, and it will then also open up your box, right? So from here, we can enter our prompt. So let's do that. So I'll paste in my prompt, and it says, I want to say, welcome to MediaPlace, where creativity meets innovation. And then it goes down from there, right? So that's the line I want to use. And now I just need to choose what type of voice that I want and kind of get them set up. Underneath your text box, you'll see you have the option to add pauses, right? So it tells you, if you hover over it, it'll tell you, you can add pauses by typing this phrase, right? So pause equals seconds, right? So however many seconds you want, and put that in brackets, and then you'll be able to add pauses for your speech, right? So for example, let's go ahead and say that I wanted to continue my lines here, right? So I could have it enter the bracket here and say pause. And then if you go hover over it again, say equals, and let's say you can go with a max of 3 seconds, but I'm going to go ahead and say 2 seconds here and then close my bracket, right? So pause equals 2 seconds. And then once it processes out, it'll then add those 2 seconds after the sentence for life. And then I could say, start my next line and then type in, sample text, right? So you could keep writing after that and you get that pause, right? So that's a pretty cool feature built in. But again, remember, it's only a max of 3 seconds. So keep that in mind. But again, if you want that little space, you can do that 1 second, 2 second, and 3 if you need to. All right, so once you've got your text set up and your prompt ready to go down below and choose your voice, right? So if you click on change, it opens up our voices. And from here is where you can choose what style of voice you're looking for, right? So right now I have it set to all. And then I could go through here and I could play through these guys.
You must welcome change.
The truth of the matter is,
and you can sample different styles that you're looking for.
When we seek to discover.
And up at the top right corner, you have the option to sort through between female, males, depending on what you're looking for your project. You can go back to all. And if you heart these, you can then add them to your favorites, right? So I could click on the heart in the top right corner, and here's where I will see all the selection of my favorites. All right, so let's go ahead and choose this guy right here to be my voice for this text prompt, right? All right, and just to point out too, for the language, MediaPlace already auto-detects the language that you type into the text box here. So you don't need to adjust anything. It automatically detects the language that you're putting in, and then it will then do that generative AI speech for you in that specific language. All right, so right now I've got this set. So let's go ahead and generate that speech. And it doesn't take very long to generate this speech at all. So once you see it up here, you'll see it for your generated speeches sections. And now I can play this back.
Welcome to MediaPlace, where creativity meets innovation. This is more than just a space, it's a hub for storytellers, visionaries, and creators to bring their ideas to life.
All right, so that's a really cool and fast way to generate speech inside of MediaPlace. And again, if you wanted to make some tweaks, you go in there, maybe change some lines, maybe come in here between a line here and add a space using the pause prompt that you need to. But again, let's just say I was ready to use this. I could save this, take this to, let's go ahead and save it to my audio waves there, and then you'd be good to go. All right, so you do have the option also to export this out to disk, so maybe another external hard drive, maybe somewhere else on your computer. You can do that as well too. So again, these are really powerful tools built right into MediaPlace to help speed up your workflow and to make your projects even better. All right, so hopefully you got some quick tips out of this. Stay tuned for future tutorials, and as always, keep creating.